Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics as the season is counting down and we're into the last full week of conference play here. I'm Lynn Ullum, joined by host Don Clegg, and as always we start with head women's coach Kyle Cooper. So Coach, let's start and accentuate the positive. Just a tremendously entertaining game on Saturday versus a pretty good Concord team. So give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I phrase it this way to the team is I rewatched the game a second time, and usually I'm always doing something, breaking it down, making notes, et cetera, et cetera. And the second time I watched it, I just sat down and kind of enjoyed it. I wanted to almost be a fan of it because I knew what they did was so incredible, to put up 110 the way we did, but also the fact that Concord was having some incredible shot making too. But we did so many things well. The ball movement, incredible, 28 assists in that game or whatever it was. I think 35 made shots. Big time third quarter defensively, for a team that got in a rhythm in Concord in the first half. We locked it down in the third quarter and opened that lead up. And then we did something that we've been trying to do for a while now and closed out a game. And so it was an incredible performance overall for our players. I thought Corinne maybe had one of the best individual performances I've witnessed in my 11 years here in the arena, and that's a testament to her. It's a testament to what she's done, but that's a pretty lofty compliment knowing some of the players that have stepped onto that court in my tenure here as both a head coach, associate head coach, assistant coach. But overall, I think the other thing too that doesn't get enough look is the way the seniors performed collectively, and what they were able to do and how they were able to go out on their court, and then just what that meant for everybody, seeing the way the families interacted, seeing all the joy that was there that day, and the appreciation and the gratefulness just circulates throughout, and mirrors and parallels how I feel and how we feel as a staff about them. So just an awesome day. Everything that, we've been through, that's the kind of day that I think everybody deserves, but most importantly, those three seniors deserved.
So what do you think, going back to the game versus Concord down in Athens, their pressure hurt us in that game.
Sure.
I thought you did a really good job of taking care of the basketball, but more importantly, you were able to attack their pressure and get the shots that you wanted. So why were you able to successfully attack them at such a high level?
I think it's a testament to the players' poise. I thought the reads were really good. I thought we were doing first things first. A lot of times what the pressure's done to us is it's made us almost initially think that we have to move away from a trap or a retreat dribble. Well, that's just what teams want you to do. I thought we were really good, especially through the first three quarters, just exploiting that. And when we can play with an advantage and we share the basketball the way that we do, it's pretty to watch. And again, I think it's a testament to what they were able to do. We did make a little bit of just minor tweaks read-wise from what we were doing maybe in the front half against pressure teams, but nothing outside of our normal, drastically. It was just more, again, them settling in, playing confident and leaning into one another. And I think the thing that was really incredible to watch was just how in the moments where we had those sped up moments, if you will, somebody had somebody's back. And that's what it's supposed to look like. And again, they reaped the benefit with the way they shared it, the way they scored it.
Well, it was an entertaining game. I know Don and I enjoyed it.
It was fun listening. Yes, it was.
We were even talking at halftime, like it's just a great basketball game to watch. And
I think you have to give Concord credit. Like Madison May has to step in for Tesla because she's got everything going on with her baby on the way, and they hit some big time shots. I think one of the big differences was when you look at film, we were getting a lot of open looks and generating a lot of open looks. I thought consistently we made them earn their shots, and they did hit some tough ones, which made the game really entertaining.
They hit maybe some surprising threes, not a team that does a lot of that. So anyway, just an incredible senior day performance, and you scored 110 points and got a quality win. So let's just quickly backtrack so we're not accused of ignoring anything. Made the trip down to the Waco Center. Yes. So tell us a little bit about the game versus Glenville.
Yeah, I think that, it was a messy game right from the start. We did not take care of the basketball well, but the crazy thing you look at is 15 minutes of the game, you look up at the scoreboard, it's a 2-possession game. You rewind 5 minutes prior to that, we're up 2 possessions. Like, just a really weird game for as poorly as we handled their pressure down there. We're still in it, and then they put one of those notorious Glenville runs on you to end the half, and I think it was a 17-3 run by them. And once you dig that kind of hole against that kind of team, it's tough. But to our testament, we fought. We were there the whole way in the second half. But again, when you get yourself in that hole, it does make it hard. But I thought when you look at things, and we talked about it last week on the podcast, I thought playing them ahead of Concord would make us better for Concord. So selfishly, I was glad Glenville was ahead of Concord because I thought we got better just in a 3 or 4 day stretch. And what better time to do it than senior night?
Yeah, and the thing about Glenville, you talk about just on a given night how teams perform. They probably shot it better from deep that game.
No doubt.
Than they've shot it all season.
Yep.
And that's probably what led to that 17-3 run. They're knocking threes down at a higher pace than they have.
And a lot of it was, system. We've made some tweaks. We've done some things differently here in the last couple of weeks, and you're maybe going to give up some more step-in threes if we're offering a little bit more help or spotting some zone or those kind of things. I thought one unique stat, and you would never think this when you look at the score of the game, our first shot defense in the game was sub 30%. So, again, that's the Glenville system taking over a little bit there. That's the points off turnovers. It's the second chance. Unfortunately, the margin of made threes for them versus us, which is something we usually steal on a regular basis.
All right, Don, time for your interrogation.
Okay. Well, and once again, congratulations. A great senior day win. We talked about your seniors last week, but terrific going-away party for them last game on this floor. Coming down the stretch, and we'll talk about the week coming up here, but it is the last week of the regular season. Next week, we're in Wheeling for the MEC tournament. Are you able to use just a breakout performance like you guys had, 110 points there against Concord? Can you use that as a springboard to this week and then going back down to Wheeling next week and maybe making some sort of a run?
Yeah, I think it's everything to come off of that, and no better time to get hot than right now, as we all know. And March starts on Friday, but we want to keep this madness going because for every up and down we've had, I think one of the biggest things about Saturday is for them, they prove to themselves what we know they're capable of consistently and closing out a game and so on. And when you have that confidence carrying over, I think it's everything. And there's no better time than this year where, I understand there are teams that have earned a lot better rankings than we're going to have going in the tournament. This tournament's going to be wide open, though. I mean, teams have beat each other from top to bottom all year. Teams have taken quote-unquote good wins, good losses, bad wins. It's just been one of those years. And I think we're setting up for maybe one of the most entertaining women's tournaments in a long time. Do I wish we were positioned better going in? Sure, but I don't care about that now. We are where we are. We're playing off of a big win Saturday. We got a big one tomorrow against Notre Dame.
Okay, and talking about coming up this week, close out 2 road games. We're taping this on Tuesday morning, so Wednesday night, make that trip up to South Euclid. You beat Notre Dame way back in November. It was one of the first conference games of the season. What do you need to do when you go up there tomorrow night and come home with a sweep?
I think that what we have to do is we have to go up there and continue what we're doing offensively with the way we're sharing the basketball, the way we're wanting to own the basketball like we did Saturday. You've got to be confident enough to want the ball in your hands to make the right plays. But I think it's going to come down to make them earn things, understand that other teams have talented players, so they're going to score, but are we on makes and misses going to play with the kind of pace and the collective basketball that we were able to on Saturday? Because that's one of the testaments to something we do in this program consistently, especially when we're taking care of the basketball, is make or miss, we're coming back at you. That has to be a staple of what we do as we ride out this season.
And of course, we close things out Saturday with the big game at Wheeling. Played them about a month ago here, and close game throughout. Ended up a couple possessions. They came out on top. What can you do Saturday to flip that script and get that momentum to carry into the tournament next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think motivation's going to not be an issue there because I think our players are very convinced that we gave one away there, and we'll digest film just like we do for every second time around. But I just think it's continue to build on what we did Saturday, continue to have confidence in what we can do and what we can consistently do both individually, collectively. Focus on that stuff, and if we keep doing that, I think we're going to stack some wins, and I think we're going to have a chance to make a run in the tournament.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Good luck,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Well, that pretty much wraps up this segment. 2 road wins. Let's go to the state of Ohio and bring one home for a good old West Virginia school. And then let's get down to our arch rivals and really make our presence felt that we're going to make a run in this tournament. So that wraps up the women's side here on Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We'll be back with assistant coach Aaron Huffman.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Kyle Cooper. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. In this segment, we're joined by assistant coach Aaron Huffman on the men's program. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Yes.
We, Coach Huffman and I go way, way back. So we talk basketball all the time, so we're not going to try to ambush you too much here. But tell us a little bit. We had Connor on last week, Connor Haar, and we talked a little bit about his role as an assistant coach. So what would you say about your role?
My role is I'm kind of like a better term, the extra guy. I think that every college staff, small college campuses have the extra person that is the extra support. So meaning most people know I'm a full-time faculty member here, and I do that as my primary job. But then as far as coaching goes, I'm not necessarily the person that's doing a lot of recruiting, but sometimes. Not necessarily the person that's going to be doing a ton of the scouting report, but sometimes. So at times, jokingly, you have actually called me a quality control coach, like jokingly, someone that can just be an extra set of eyes for the players themselves or for the coaches in general. Also, as crazy as it sounds, since I think because I've just been on this staff for so long, I was thinking about the other day, I think I joined this staff with Coach Crutchfield, and Coach Howitt and I were together. We came in together. Coach Howitt and I came in together. We were both assistant coaches. That was 2011. Well, this is 2024. So for all those years, it's been the same system, as you know. It's tweaked a little bit. But so my role is to know the system well, what works, what doesn't, what wins, what doesn't. The personnel changes over the years to help fill in the gaps that maybe aren't being filled by the other coaches, which there's not too many of them, but I kind of see that's what my role has morphed into over the years, I would say.
Well, here would be, let's talk about Saturday's game, the home game. Concord comes to town. Obviously a quality team. I think they were 18-4 coming in. What do you think the difference in the game was? We're down 4 at the half. What was the difference?
Well, finally, it took us a while. One of the differences, because when the second half started, we couldn't stop them. We couldn't get a stop defensively. We were really having trouble with that. And it even took a while in the second half, but finally, and I don't remember the numbers exactly, but there was a point in the second half when they had scored 9 out of 10 straight possessions. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because in the media timeouts, as you know, we get those stat sheets, And so I looked at one of them, and I looked at Coach Howitt, and I said, do you realize they are 9 of 10 this half? When we were having trouble stopping in the first half, it just got worse. And obviously, if we can't stop them, not only do they score, but it eliminates any of our fast break opportunities, even our transition, because we basically have to take the ball out of bounds. Well, then, I don't remember the exact number, but after that 9 of 10 or 10 of 11, the next 20 possessions, I think they scored twice. I think they were 2 for 20 the next 20, something like that. So what that enabled two things. One, we stopped them, so they didn't score. But then we finally could get our fast break going. We've been trying to make an emphasis a little bit more in getting out and running the fast break, which is a cliche, right? Let's run. You know, coaches say, let's run, but you actually have to do it. So we were trying to get an emphasis on what we used to be really good at. When we get a rebound, the other 4 players should be taken off. And we really weren't doing that. We were kind of just jogging up the floor like every other team does. So we were really making an emphasis on that the last week. And then we really didn't do it that well the first half. Plus, we weren't getting stops. But once we finally got some stops, guys took off. And I think it sprung when Kyler got that over-the-top pass. You might remember that.
Yes.
And that was, okay, more of that. So I don't remember, again, I don't have the exact numbers, but I would say from that point on, we scored like 10 points off fast breaks somehow, some way. Another possession, we got a stop. Guys ran hard. Dante got a 3 wide open because of it. Because other guys ran really hard. We didn't get a layup, but the defense had to retreat back to the paint, which allowed Dante to have a wide open 3. He stepped right into it. So back to your original question, 2 things. We finally got some stops, and we were able to get transition going, which got some easy baskets. Next thing you know, a dogfight turns into a 10-point game, and we can open up from there. So that's what I recollect the most from that second half.
Well, here's what my take on it, watching it from the track. Dawn asked me as we went back on the air to start the second half, what does West Liberty got to do to control this game, being down 4? And I used the term, we've got to play bigger. I don't think we played big in the first half. They had their way a little bit with us on the offensive glass.
They did.
I thought we played bigger in the second half, and I also stole another cliche. You have to draw a line in the sand and not let them get any deeper.
Yep.
Whether it's on dribble penetration or on power post-ups, you got to draw a line in the sand. So that was my take.
And I would agree with that too, because back to what I was saying about getting stops. Well, I guess you could say back to me, well, how did we get the stops? Well, we got the stops by doing what you said. We finally were able to keep them getting so deep on their post-ups because they were beating us up pretty good in the post, and that's, I think, what you're referring to, which then enabled the trickle-down effect is we get stops, we can run, and I would agree with that for sure, yeah.
Now, very quickly, you weren't at this game. Coach Huffman has 2 children playing high school basketball and having good years. So Wednesday night down at Glenville, and I'm not going to make you talk about that, I'll just quickly reference the game. Hilltopper's in a dogfight. It got a little hairy down the stretch, but the same thing. Up 1 with a minute and a half left, we dug in, got stops, converted on the offensive end, beat a scrappy Glenville team, which then set the stage for the huge regional implications win over Concord. Don, go ahead.
Okay, well, Coach, really glad to have you with us here on the podcast today, and just want to give people a little bit of a background. I mean, we've already referenced, you've been on 12 straight NCAA tournament teams as assistant coach here at West Liberty, and before you came actually back to West Liberty, because you started here, you were a highly successful head coach in your own right at Division III Bethany. You took them to multiple NCAA tournament bids before coming home, more or less, to West Liberty. So, philosophical question. In your opinion, what's the most important attribute for an individual to have in order to be a successful head coach?
That's a loaded question, Don. If I had to pick one attribute to be a successful head coach, am I allowed to cheat and say more than one?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, work ethic, but I would say you have to be a really good communicator. I think you have to be able to communicate, and I know that's a cliche. All these things are cliches, but
Right.
You really do. You have to be able to, and whatever your communication style is, but you have to be good at it. Communication to lead people, to motivate people, and communication to explain how are we going to run the break, or how are we going to do what we're going to do. If you're going to play like West Liberty, well, you have to communicate how that's going to look, and then the motivation goes with that too. So, and then there's obviously working really hard. You're not going to be a successful head coach, as you know, if you're not willing to work really, really hard. You have to outwork
Yes.
your opponents. So I don't know which one's the most important, we're getting philosophical, but
Right.
I think those are all super important. You have to have those things to be a leader. You have to be a good communicator. You have to be a good motivator. You have to work hard. Notice I didn't say you have to know the game really well. I mean, you have to know the game really well too, I guess, but actually I would say that's a little secondary.
Yeah.
You could be a coach, I think. I truly feel like this. I don't know if you guys would agree, but you couldn't maybe you could be a little maybe tear down on your X's and O's and still be incredibly successful. If you work really hard, you can communicate really well, you can share a vision with your team and motivate. And the X's and O's could be secondary, in my opinion. But we don't want to just push those off. It's important, but it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, and again, we've already referenced a big regional conference win over Concord on Saturday. Close out the season on the road this week with a couple games. We're taping this Tuesday morning, going to Notre Dame on Wednesday night. Strange things can happen up in South Euclid, Ohio. We've seen that before. What is it about that venue? It's a little bit different. What is it that makes that such a tough place to play?
That gym up at Notre Dame it's its own place. You know, it's so for the folks at home that are watching this or whoever's watching this right now, it's a very small gym and it's really loud because it just echoes. There's no sound barriers. Everything it is so loud in there. There's 8 rows of bleachers on one, or maybe it's more than 8, but it's not. It'd be a very small high school gym, and behind your bench, you're basically a wall. I mean, you have maybe room for like a few seats, like one row, and that adds to it. I don't know what the capacity is in there. What do you think it holds? 400, 300 people,
Yeah.
And so it is so loud. It's kind of a cool place to play, though, and I think that contributes to it. And you have to make the road trip and all that. You know, going up to Cleveland. But for sure, anything can happen up there. It's for sure. I mean, here's a team we're playing tomorrow that on paper we're supposed to beat. We beat them, I can't remember, pretty handily the first time. But if you look at the first time we played them, I don't remember exactly, but I think we forced them into 30-plus turnovers. Well, what if that doesn't happen again tomorrow?
Yes.
Another thing, and again, I don't remember numbers, but I think the first time we played them, they did not when we played Notre Dame here, they did not shoot well from the three-point line. I want to say it was very bad, actually.
Yes.
Well, what if that doesn't happen again? And I think we shot well. So I don't remember exactly, but if those things don't happen, next thing you know, you're in a dogfight. And the team's pretty athletic to begin with. They can jump, they can run, they can shoot, and they have really good players. So, and they're not a bad team. They're actually a good, solid team that's in the middle of the pack. You know, so we have to be really ready to play tomorrow.
Okay, and then following that up, and of course we wrap up the season as we do every year, that rivalry game with Wheeling. Now this one is at their place, Saturday afternoon, final game of the regular season. You handled them pretty easily about a month ago when you had them on this floor. Now since that game, they've been playing 500 basketball. They've obviously figured some things out. You know, what can you guys do going over there Saturday with everything on the line? You got to try to come out with a sweep, momentum going into next week's conference tournament.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to be talking about Wheeling before we play Notre Dame. I agree, but it's a mental. It's for us mentally. We have to be ready for Wheeling's best. We have to understand that when you're playing down there, it's almost like you were saying about Notre Dame. Anything can happen, and I know that's another cliche. How many cliches? Anything can happen, right? But actually, anything can happen. Who would have dreamed that a year ago? Would you ever believe that the team that went to the national championship game would go down to Wheeling? The team that went to the national championship game would go down to Wheeling, who was in last place at the time, and lose. You would never believe that could even happen. It lose handily, yeah, almost down in the 20s.
Right.
Who would ever believe that ever would be possible? So when we say anything can happen, we actually mean it. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. We have to understand that Wheeling is playing better and that they're playing at home and that they want to beat us really bad. And I guess using last year as a lesson, anyone with a good conscious mind can realize, wow, if that can happen last year, it can happen anytime. So we have to make absolutely sure that you're best. You're ready to go. You're ready for Wheeling's best. And more importantly than anything, make sure we play good basketball. We play the right way. We play the way that West Liberty is supposed to play basketball. And if we do those things, then we should be okay.
Yeah, at this point of the season, you're far enough in. The X's and O's really don't matter that much. Really, what the other team does doesn't matter that much. It's does West Liberty do what West Liberty can do.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Yep.
All right, here's your question. Show the viewers this shirt. This is one of the shirts that Coach Hallett got for the team this season.
Which I don't have one of those, by the way.
Okay.
Oh.
What do you think of the basketball?
My personal opinion,
Yes.
I don't really care for it that much.
Okay,
But-
I love it.
Okay.
Like, soon as I saw Coach Hallett wear one of these, I said, why don't I have one? So I went in and basically twisted his arm and made him give me this shirt today. But I like it because I'm so old. When I was playing junior high and then high school sports, every team had a warm-up ball like this.
Yes,
You painted
yes.
the
Really?
ball.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That is
you
true.
warmed up with a ball like
Yeah.
this. So it doesn't surprise me that you wouldn't like this shirt.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Well, all right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck to both of your kids, Josh and Jillian, as they're in sectionals and regional play.
Yep.
And keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully we can maybe get you involved again as we get into our conference tournament, regional tournament.
All right, well, thanks, guys. It was good. Great to be here.
Thanks very
That
much.
wraps up this edition Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Don't forget, away at Notre Dame Wednesday, away at Wheeling on Saturday, and then the MEC tournament, West Banco Arena the following week.
Hi, my name is Craig Bober. I'm a senior finance major at West Liberty University, and today I'm going to be showing you what it's like to be a part of this program. Heading to my first class of the day, investment portfolio analysis with Professor Jesse.
We're going to start off doing some current events, and then we're going to look at evaluating some stocks, figuring out the intrinsic value. We're going to do Knight, Tyson, Disney, and waste management. We need to make some investments with the investment club.
The finance program at West Liberty is an exceptional experience. In the program, there are amazing teachers that always make class fun and engaging. A new student enrolling in the program should expect a personable learning experience when you're engaging in classroom activities and building relationships with your teachers and classmates. I chose the major in finance because of my interest in the finance world and my want to pursue a career in business. My goals after graduating are to become a certified financial planner and help people achieve their retirement and savings goals. We're heading to my second class of the day, Management Capstone with Dr. Rakia.
So part of what we've been doing over the last several weeks was looking at the internal and external factors of the companies that you had chosen to research.
This major is good for others to consider because of the quality of education you receive and the relationships you build with the people in the business department. Professionally, with a finance degree, you have many different career options like banking, insurance, financial planning, or even tax services. I chose West Liberty University because I did not want to go far from home, but I still wanted to be away. Personally, what I like most about West Liberty is the great people that live here. West Liberty Business program attracts many people from different countries, so this provides you with a unique and diverse learning environment being here. We're going to be heading into the investment club meeting.
So as we talked about, here's our current portfolio allocation. So we still have about $5,000 left, so we need to make some investments.
The investment club is a student-ran club that is sponsored by West Banco, where we use real money to buy stocks and bonds to build a class portfolio. This club is a great place to learn about the stock market and how investing works. All the decisions that we make regarding our portfolio are voted on by all the members of the club. And now for my last class of the day, my finance capstone with Professor Jesse. West Liberty's Finance Capstone is unique because it is a CFP board-registered program, which is something that not all colleges offer. In this course, we learn about topics like ethics, retirement planning, tax planning, and risk management, which prepares us for the CFP exam. And now we're going to cap off the day with playing some basketball with my friends. Being a student athlete, there are many challenges that come with it, but the rewards far outweigh them. Through my 4 years of playing football here, I learned many valuable life skills and have built friendships that will last a lifetime. Thanks for coming along with me today, and for more information, just visit our website.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Ben Hallett. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.